Hey, it's Justin with Seaboard Marine. In this video, we are wrapping up some of the finishing touches on the Sweet Bippie. Now, we have already taken the Sweet Bippie out for a sea trial, but I had a lot of this footage of some of the finishing touches like the exhaust, the controls, instrumentation, a really cool bilge pump setup, and a unique freshwater flush setup. So I thought you guys might be interested in checking some of this stuff out before we get on to the sea trial. So if you're into it, go ahead and check this out. Otherwise, our sea trial video will be coming soon. All right, so here's the finished exhaust. We don't have the wraps on yet, but got the riser, got the raw water, and then nice brace support off the aftercooler. And then we have our custom lift mufflers. Here's the starboard side riser, just a simple up and over raw water inlet with a molded hose and into one of our custom lift mufflers. So this is like a simple 90-degree in, and then it's just a simple lift inside with one baffle, and that'll hold just enough water to really quiet things down. We didn't have a lot of space to work with. A standard muffler wouldn't fit in here, so we basically built the biggest muffler that we could that can hold a little bit of water and absorb some of that noise and churn up the exhaust, and hopefully we'll get a nice sound out of it.
Something I wanted to do, because I always wanted to do, because you know I don't like any water in the bilges, and
not even a little bit.
No, I like them dry. So instead of using my shop vac all the time, you know, every time it rains or every time I wash the boat, I found out about this. It's made by Rule. It's called the dry bilge pump, and it's a diaphragm pump as opposed to a regular centrifugal pump, like the standard bilge pumps are. They always leave, you know, quite a big puddle of water.
Yeah, because as soon as they start to lose prime, a little bit of air,
exactly,
they can't. Yeah.
So this is a diaphragm pump, and you can actually run it dry even, and it self primes up to like 9 feet.
Wow.
So I hooked it up. There's a little switch inside there on the DC panel. All I have to, if there's water in there, all I do is flick the switch, and this pump will take every last bit of water out of the bilge and just throw it overboard. We put a through hole in over there.
Oh, nice. That hose right there.
Yeah. So we installed a 3-way valve here. So this hose goes into this compartment, obviously, and it'll drain this area. And then there's one going in here to under the cabin sole that'll drain that compartment if there's water in there. So I can always have dry bilge. If I see there's water in here, just flick the switch, just move the valve depending on which hose I want it to pull from, and get all that water out of there just with a flick of the switch.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Cool. Good work. Give it that seaboard touch. A little customizing for the boat. So there's the strap that holds in his tank. It's like 1/4 inch by 2 stainless steel, and we engraved the boat name there. Renee went ahead and put some gel coat on this just to freshen this up. It got a little beat up in the course of many years of use, and then of course us working on it and stuff. I don't think that helped either, but so we're just freshening this up, and it's just laid on there right now. It's kind of rough. He'll have to sand it out and buff it out. Okay, so we just did a little CNC cut of this starboard panel for our SMX Seaviews. So Frank here is installing the Seaviews. Now, what was here before, Frank? I think we have some video of that, but
it's in there. Original.
I see.
There's original.
Just a little gauge cluster.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're just gonna have 2 Seaviews in the same footprint. Should look nice and clean. All right, so this boat was a gas, so there was no fuel returns. So these are the 2 pickups that it had. And so one goes with dip tubes to each engine. Got this cool old school gauge there. But then for the fuel return on the filler neck, we were able to tie in there. And basically just tee in and come in, and so basically the fuel return goes right back through the fill, which is kind of interesting. Can you tell me about the battery switches?
Well,
We got 3 switches there.
right, there's port starboard center switch connects the house batteries, which are right behind the wall there, and that enables you to turn it to start this engine or start that engine.
So that's a selector switch. You can send power to either engine.
Right.
That's cool. So one interesting thing we have here is the on the suction hose going up to the raw water pump. We have a fresh flush, one of our fresh flush tees, which is a 2-inch hose barb with a pipe fitting on the side, a marine ball valve to our stiff 3/4 inch hose. And the idea being here is that you can take this and stick it in a bucket and fill the bucket with fresh water. Just leave the dock hose in it and run the engine and flush the engine. And if you haven't seen this is just one of many ways to set up freshwater flush. If you haven't seen our freshwater flush video, strongly recommend it. It's one of the best things you can do to slow down marine age and keep your after coolers nice, especially if your boat sits for any length of time. Everything, of course, has its strengths and its drawbacks. This is nice because it allows you to flush with a bucket, close the seacock, and suck pure fresh water through. Even if you don't have a really strong dock flow, you can use the bucket as a buffer. Also, if something ever went wrong and you were getting water in the boat, you can suck it out through the engine, so that's kind of neat. The only drawback is if you ever left this open and the main seacock open, you could siphon water into the boat, so that's not good. But other than that, as long as you don't do that, it's a good system. Okay, so here's the steering. We got new lines run. We're going, it had cable steering before, now it has a passive hydraulic steering. You can see we've got our fill line, which goes up and up to the top. That's the balancing line for the upper station, and we'll go check that out in a second. So there's the steering lines coming up to the teed up into the top, and then the lines come across. Here's our throttle. So we're using the SMX throttle position sensors. These are our in-house brand throttle position sensors. These are compatible with the Cummins Quantum engines. So here's our fuel supply. We got our SMX double doubles installed. You can see in some of our previous videos, you know, how we typically install these, but we have the priming bulb kit, which is nice. It allows you to open up these valves and close this valve, and so then you can draw fuel through the priming bulb and prime up the engine. Makes it handy if you have to spin off a filter real quick. We like to spin off filters. You know, the cleanable filters are okay, but these, you know, if you get a gunked up filter and you get stuck out there dead in the water, you can spin off the filter, spin it on, prime it up, and get going again pretty quick. And with those cleanable filters, that can be kind of a challenge. All right, big day. We're gonna fire up the Bippie. Test the engines.
C. Yes.
What do you think?
That's exciting. It's exciting. And they sound
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and run the port engine. Ready, Frank?
Clear. Clear, Tim?
Yep.
Our CAN bus tacks here.
Nice.
That work on J1939. We've got a port screen.
Those look nice. This is a good application for this because he really wants that classic look.
Right.
Oh, he's using that bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some video of how we did that bucket system. It's bouncing. Bouncing. Now you might notice this engine loping or surging just a little bit. Now we've seen this a lot with the Quantum engines. You can kind of see it kind of surging between 590 and 600. You can hear it. We've seen this a lot of times when we first fire up a Quantum engine for the very first time. As soon as we break it in, even just running it or idling it for a while, and certainly as soon as we load the engine up, take it out on a sea trial or something, this goes away pretty quickly. Bouncing.
What is the RPM?
590, 600, 590, 600. It's actually, that muffler works good, dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can hear a little bit of, still quite a bit of air in there. Once it starts getting the full amount of water it's supposed to get in, it's going to be quiet.
Yeah.
You'll be, instead of water just flowing like that, it's going to be coming out a little bit.
Those are every bit as quiet as the gas V8s were.
Nice.
Every bit as quiet. They might even be a little bit quieter.
Twice the torque.
I think they're even quieter. Yeah. Oh, 3 times probably.